Okay, now I have another question.
Yeah.
I've been following this McBride Viaduct. Now, my understanding, didn't this architect, Adam Trott, come up with some proposal where what they would want to do would be cheaper than an actual demolition?
There was never any numbers, but, concrete numbers, but they wanted to take the bridge and make it would have been no traffic over.
Right, pedestrian.
Pedestrian or light, what they call,
Not traffic.
bicycles.
Right?
Yeah,
And it's being used as that right now.
Yeah, that's what they wanted to do. Or at the very least, they wanted us to leave the pillars out,
Right?
so they could rebuild the bridge surface at a future date.
And that's not viable.
It doesn't look like, I don't know if there'll be any traction with it. They pushed it, but, they haven't, no proposals come to council yet,
Really?
But
I thought there was.
they wanted to make it kind of like, in other towns they did.
Yeah. I've seen the designs that they've put out. They just call it a pedestrian walkway. They want to put art there.
Or a park.
Yeah, even they would want to make a little park up there.
To the people on the east side, though, they put the cars back, and that's not going to probably happen.
Yeah, so I mean, there's never going to be car traffic over it, but I mean, couldn't it still be used instead of?
Hypothetically, yeah, it could be. Finding funds and everything would be,
The problem.
yeah. And who's gonna,
Well, if you have to tear it down, who's going to pay for that?
that's what we're arguing about now is the Commonwealth and the federal government are willing to fund part of this project to the degree that about 90-some% of it, I do believe, I think that was the number, is gonna be paid for by them.
Only if it's demolished.
Well, see, that was where the argument was. They had the city and the state got together, did a series, this is where the argument started. They did a series of recommendations.
Right.
Recommendations, everything from rebuilding it entirely, remodeling it,
Right. I saw
tearing it
those
down.
ones.
And so the preferred method they decided on was to tear it down and build the interchange.
But is the preferred method the cheapest method? I mean,
It's the one that I believe, they say it is. There's arguments, pro and con. They had a
Yeah.
citizens committee, but they said that was the best and most efficient use of funds. Was to tear the bridge down and to build the 18th Street access that they're gonna do.
I would think if you kept it, turned it into a park, you'd get some sort of a grant.
But they're saying that, the state never countered with that. It had to be rebuilt, that, the amount of money that would have to go into rebuilding it. And this is where the argument started, was that the people that are on this committee, the citizens committee, that there was appointed with people like Father Jerry and all of them, they don't feel like they were in on the decision.
And Father Jerry doesn't like the whole transitway walkway thing. He wants his cars back, and that's not going to happen.
No, and the problem was, this is where, I was not a councilman then. There were a couple of our councilmen on that committee. I would have liked to see, I always smell, there's no saying if you're in the middle of a cheese factory and you think you smell mouse, you're probably right.
Right?
So I mean, if that's what happened, if the committee wasn't part of it, then I think there was a wrong done, The whole purpose of committees are to sit there and say, now even though maybe you have to say, you know what, we have to tear it down. If the committee decides that.
Right.
That's
Or at least
okay.
have some input.
But nobody knows who really made the decision. And see, that's where the argument is now, that, so that the committee feels like they were there, but they weren't there for the final decision. And who made the decision?
Right.
Was it the administration, was it the state? But now that we sent in all the paperwork, we said, we agreed with the recommendation. Now the money is earmarked. If you don't take it, you're on your own.
Right.
This is why we're hanging out here now. I mean, you don't have much. What are you gonna do?
Right.
It's rotten. I mean, that's why when I voted no because I don't think the committee was, from what I understand, and nobody's told me otherwise. I don't think they were part of the final decision. So what do you think about the bridge?
I think that it would be better if it was able to be saved in some fashion. I think it would be beneficial to the community. I think it would be beneficial to the shops and business on East Avenue. What happens if you tear it down? You just got this big gaping hole in this East Avenue dead ends at the railroad tracks.
I'd love to see a park. I mean, I've seen it done in like New York, in the larger cities.
Our biggest problem right now, as you look at, we have to get more people, this is not easy.
Involved.
We have to get people involved, moving back into the city slowly.
Yeah.
We have to get businesses to actually want to come here again, you know, not just the occasional, I applaud people like Tim Hortons, who, but we need a lot more.
Right.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, you're on.
What I think about the bridge is you gotta get a unified front. You gotta get everybody that's going off in 10 different directions. I want it for a footbridge, I want it for a park, I want it for this. You need to convince these people it's never gonna be a traffic bridge again. Take your energies and direct them to at least keeping the bridge for foot traffic and maybe putting
It's a shame that we do all these studies, but we never really come up with a plan,
You're as big on studies.
Well, the big problem is people just the normal everyday citizens don't really seem to get involved like they did in years past.
I think people, and I hate to say this, it kind of goes to your point about what you brought up earlier. And I have made comments on that I think people have given up. They see that, they either feel that, look at the voting.
Yeah, I see it. I work the polls every time.
They just feel like it doesn't matter, nobody's listening to them. And in a way, I guess you can't blame them, because government has, it seems like they're always doing things that nobody's aware of.